Well, now I want to turn to Earl Hackett. And Earl is building the commuter coach from Lambert Locomotive Works, made by Dylan Lambert. So, Earl, welcome.
Okay, here we go. Part two. Um, this model really came out quite well. I was very pleased with it. Um, Last week we just assembled the seats and the bottom the floor, and we're going to finish it up this week. It was really an easy kit to put together. So the first thing I did, I painted the exterior of the body with a black satin finish. The roof was going to be black, so I just sprayed the whole thing, and that served as the primer as well. So then I painted the ends and sides with Floquil Pullman green. I had an old bottle of Floquil down there. I love this stuff. Um, so once that was painted, we masked the outside, and I grabbed some Krylon. I think it was almond. Any light color would do, just to put some color on the inside on the inside walls, and sprayed that, and we're ready to go. Took off the masking, lettered it. I have some old Champ decals in the box, and this was a dull. Floco was always a flat paint, and what I do to avoid getting bubbles under the decals, I put the Solvaset on the car itself, and then lay the decal on top of it, and the stuff settles down, and never have any problems with bubbles under the decal film. And then sprayed the whole thing with the Krylon flat finish. Um, the window glass, you can hardly even see it. It's just a clear styrene, and I just took a large oversized sheet, put it in there, and then with a small brush would take a very fluid CA adhesive and dab it along the edge, and let the surface tension wick it into the capillary action, wick it into the interface, and that was very easy to install the glass that way. So now we got the underbody. We've assembled the various components, and I think they're in the right place. It was not obvious from the instructions where they went. The only one that was confusing was the triple valve here, and I think I got it in the right spot. I know nothing about the underbody of passenger cars. In the O scale, this was originally an O scale model, and these boxes here, they were intended for lead shot to be put in to provide weight for the car. This car in HO, it weighs, I don't know, maybe an ounce, maybe an ounce and a half. It was very, very light. So I had to put some weight in there, and there's not enough room in there in HO to really get any significant weight in there. So at any rate, we masked off the seats, sprayed the whole thing black, masked off the journal boxes here with some tape, and sprayed the trucks as well. This is all just sprayed on my downdraft table with Krylon satin black. The grab irons were probably the most challenging part of the building it. I was building them in a phosphor bronze wire, and of course I got it from the instrument warehouse, the instrument workshop rather. It's a workshop that works with ancient musical instruments, and they have a good selection of wires, bronze and iron, and all kinds of crazy wires in all sorts of dimensions. So, and it's not very expensive. So I go there quite often for wire. But at any rate, you need to get it straight. And I just grab it and use my fingers to flex it out. So you don't need the whole thing to be straight. You just need a small section where to be a straight wire. And since I was making a whole bunch of them that are going to be the same size, I just took some scrap wood and cut it to length, glued it in a vice into a vice grip, so that I could just drop the wire in between and then fold it up. You could make a whole bunch of them all the same size very quickly. Just took a block of wood, pushed it up against it, and flexed it in. My original thought, because of a couple of the mounting problems I was looking at, I was going to surface mount them. So I built them with a little extension here. I clipped this off, anneal this wire with a torch, and hit it with a punch and flatten this section here to get a glue surface. And that worked well. Then I tried to put it on the car, and that didn't work very well at all. So I threw out that idea. Went with just a straight grab, but now I have to drill holes. And this is what I use for hole drilling. This is my Boston Dental Laboratory belt drive. This thing is the best doggone machine for drilling holes, small holes that you could possibly imagine. The drill bit here is from Drill Bit City. If you want really precise drills, go there. These are resharpened circuit board drills, and they're incredibly cheap for what you're getting. So what I did, I made a little template with a couple of holes drilled the proper distance and just drilled the first hole, lined this one up, and eyeballed the next one and put it in there. But the nice thing about this device is controlled by a foot pedal, and the foot pedal controls speed as well. So you get the drill, position it where you want it, and then hit the pedal, and it just drives right smack into it. You don't push on it at all. Just the weight of the drill gets the job done. And it allowed me to drill holes in this. This is the one, these edges here. I was really concerned with being able to get the holes lined up on these, this edge of this, the front piece of the car. I don't know what you call it, front piece. I don't know, but it was not a problem at all with this drill setup. Oh, you can still buy these Buffalo Dental Lab engines new for $740. But if you go on eBay, you can find them for less than half that. And I got this one 30 years ago from a nail salon. They used it to carve fingernails on ladies. It's worked fine ever since. That's what it actually looks like. It sits here on my workbench next to I built a little shelf down here to put the engine on, so that this articulated arm can reach anywhere on my workbench, and it works very well. Okay, so we got the grab irons mounted, and I dug around my paint boxes, and I needed a yellow paint. I found some Scale Coat, and that stuff, it is so thick and gloppy. This one came out okay, but this one is, you can see, it's just it glops on there, and I for the life of me, I couldn't get it to go on smoothly. I got these all on. I started to make the horizontals. They're a slightly different dimension. I looked at another box of paint, and son of a gun, I had some flow quill. So I painted these with flow quill, and you can see the difference in the quality of the coating. So I just love flow quill. I wish the heck we could get that again. This is the underbody here where we've mounted the parts. For these, I used DAP Rapid Fuse. It's a CA, but it has a lot of elongation. It's not a gel, but it's almost a gel, and it goes where you put it, and it stays there and works very well. Weights, as I said, the car was extremely light, so I machined some lead weights to simulate the equipment or cabinets, lockers that you find at the ends of these cars. So made 4 of these little guys. I took some weight lead and cast it into a sort of a billet, and then put it on my mill and machined it to a nice rectangular shape. And that's how they mount inside the car. So that puts plenty of weight right directly over the trucks, which is I didn't want weight in the middle of the car because this material's so flexible over time it could sag. So I wanted the weight directly where it was going to be supported. The body assembly was pretty easily, but I ran into a problem with there's a slot in the underbody where this tab had to slide down into, and there was some interference fit. So the simplest solution was just to grind it out so it would drop in, and it dropped in very nicely after that. Again, the underbody was not a very good print, and although we reprinted the underbody, the main portion, I did not ask for have the underbody printed. So that may have been part of the problem. One other thing I did, before I glued it together, I removed the paint along here. I don't know that Krylon is all that great, and I tried thinning this out at first, but to try and get it fit better, but it worked okay. We got it in. Now, remember the original underframe, because of the printing problem, it had a distortion. And this is a common problem with all 3D printing. It has a tendency to distort like this. The only way you can prevent it is to make it really thick, and then you lose a lot of. Well, sometimes you just can't make it that thick because it's if you're building a scale model, so somehow you have to deal with the stuff. And the material was nice and flexible, so it went together very well. But the very end here, it was still hanging down a little bit. Now I could flex it and bend it up into here and glue it in position, but I don't like shear bonds. This bond would be loaded up in shear, pulling it down. Cyanoacrylates do not do well in shear, so I wanted to minimize the load that this bond line was going to be exposed to. Oh, stop that. There. So I went underneath and looked at it to see where the load was coming from, and there was this cross member was flexing pretty heavily. So I just cut it here and undercut this a little bit and relieved all the stress, and it just slid up into there very nicely, and I was able to glue it. Wasn't a problem at all. It took all of 5 minutes. I put the coupler box mounted on very nicely, and I added, just to beef this up, because I removed some material just to make sure it wasn't going anywhere. This is some 1/10-inch thick polystyrene with another thin piece put on, lapped on here to make sure it was in good and solid. Added the couplers and the trucks, and it was they were all installed with 256 machine screws. I just tapped right into the frame, the holes. I didn't ream them out with a drill or anything. I let the tap do the work, and it worked very well. On the layout, you don't notice this rough, this flow cool, but in a picture like this, it really stands out. And I just may take the time to scrape it off and get out my old bottle of flow cool that I didn't know I had, and make them look better. So that's about it.
Earl, thank you so very much for doing this. It looks like it turned into a nice model.